Hey there, soccer fans and Premier League fans. Welcome to this week's episode of Between the Posts. He's Matt, I'm Jason, where we get to break down all 10 games this week in the Premier League, coming off the international break, the last international break, so it's Premier League with no interruptions from here on out. How's it going there, Matt?
Yeah, that's exciting. It's going really well. No international break for the remainder. So I mean, yeah, we've got what I think it's 12 matches left.
Well, I
Um,
mean, that's an interesting thing. I mean, some teams have only played 25 games. You have
yeah,
teams like United that have been in these EFL Cup finals and what have you, and progressing in the FA Cup. Yeah, I mean, it's a wide range of games that are kind of out there to be played. You've got teams like, how about Southampton and West Ham going into the last, or coming out of the last international break? Two of the three teams are West Ham and Southampton in the drop.
yeah. I mean, some
Remarkable.
they're not newbies. They've been here for a long, long time. And yeah, so I mean, that's interesting. Then just other sports kind of coming into play too. Baseball season. I know you're doing a lot of handicapping there, and college basketball, March Madness. I need you to cross your fingers for me, Jason. I need
Okay.
UConn.
You
I
can.
need UConn to come through. I am in there's about 370 people in a bracket pool for $20 per bracket. So, it would be pretty nice. If UConn can win both games, then I win the bracket out of like 370 people. That
Wow.
would be like, it'd be like 5 grand. So it'd be really, really nice.
Wow. You got to start hedging that, right? I can assume if they make the final, you got to hedge it.
I know I would probably do at least a mini hedge. I would maybe even try to get like super greedy with it and middle it.
Yeah, really.
like,
You're right.
like
They're
try to
the,
hit both.
And I think they're
Yeah.
the odds-on favorite, so you should be able to middle it going forward because they should always be favored by some amount of points.
Yeah. There's a couple little opportunities there. Yeah, I think I'm going to probably take a small play on Miami plus
Mm-hmm.
5.5. I also think they're really good. But the funny thing is, I haven't even watched UConn like one time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did, I filled like 5 brackets out and had like pretty much probably like 4 or 5 different winners, and one of them was UConn. And like then
Feeling
everything,
it.
I don't know, it's just
Love
I
it.
just haven't even
Love it. Games start what tomorrow? Or resume tomorrow?
resume tomorrow night. It will be the late game, and yeah,
Cool.
it'll be fun.
Nice. Love that right there. Good time going on right now in the sporting world. What'd you make of Conte getting fired there over international break? It was almost like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you fire him, you've kind of play into what he said in his press conference. Like you just keep firing managers over and over. So, but if you
Mhm.
don't fire him, you can't have the manager go out there and blast the ownership, the board and everything. So they were kind of stuck. But in the end, I think they had to fire him, though, right, Matt?
I think so. I think so. The writing was on the wall. I mean, yeah, like for weeks, like just kind of the ripping of the dressing room. Like after the Champions League exit, the board, everything. I mean, he was just, you can't continue to just like, uh, you know,
Get
talk
away
shit
with it,
about your own like home where you're at right now, and then just,
right?
just expect to continue. I guess, and just yeah. So I think that his love just kind of wore off a little bit, and yeah, I think that yeah, he had to be sacked.
To me, it'll be interesting to see if they bring back Pochettino. He's the one player that could keep a Harry Kane. Maybe if they don't make a Champions League, or maybe keep another player, or maybe recruit if they don't if they're unable to make Champions League. If they don't make Champions League and don't have Pochettino, that could be really hurt their recruitment plans and really send an exit to maybe some players that are in that dressing room. So I'll be interested to see who they snatch up. Nagelsmann, Pochettino. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Mm. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and jump on into these 10 games. Of course, we'll preview and then give you analysis for all 10 games, give you guys some bets and leans, and then at the end of the show, we'll go ahead and reveal our official bets of how we're betting this week in the Premier League. It all kicks off Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time at the Etihad, where Manchester City is going to host Liverpool. When I first saw this matchup, Matt, I immediately gravitated towards the both teams to score in over 2.5. It's just got a great hit rate in this head-to-head. But Liverpool make me a little nervous. They've had 9 straight Premier League games, both teams to score no. Somebody's not scoring in 9 straight Premier League games for Liverpool. So then if I look at this game, do I want to just gravitate towards City, who I think is the better team and obviously in the better place right now, that they can cover a team total and not have to worry about Liverpool contributing to anything? a little undecided how I feel about this. I feel like going back to the well, though, on a both teams to score in over 2.5. What do you think here for your guys going into the Etihad this weekend?
It's a really tough one, I think, just because it's coming off the international break. There's just that extra little bit of uncertainty. I mean, look at City. They're in amazing form.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, that was, 2 weeks ago. So it's like, and we know in football how fast things can change. I mean, they haven't dropped points at all since the 23rd of February. I mean, we're almost to April now. So it's been well over a month since they, haven't gotten the full 3 points in any of their matchups. I thought that Liverpool looked damn good actually on the road, even though they in a losing effort to Real Madrid. They showed a lot of courage, a lot of fight, a lot of spirit still in that. And, they're getting Luis Diaz back. In this one also Erling Haaland looks like he's not going to go here. So Haaland's out. He's like 80%. He's probably not playing here. Let me check.
Yeah,
he's a late fitness test.
I'm going to.
He's probably not going here.
That's big. That's big. I mean, obviously his size and his presence, they struggled for 8 games in a row, it seemed like, trying to pick him out. But then obviously back-to-back hat tricks and the Premier League and the Champions League, they've got service back into him. So that's going to be a big loss for Manchester City.
Yeah, but how big is it? I mean, they can play without him too. Like, they're still so good. Like, they'll just bring in Alvarez. Alvarez will lead the line. He's damn good.
They've
no
also
Phil
had
Foden.
They've also had 5 straight clean sheets, City in all competitions. Just enough to put me off of both teams to score at over 2.5, even though the head-to-head hit rate is great.
The head-to-head hit rate is great, but I would be, if you made me bet, I would probably take like the under 3 here. I struggle to see 3 goals in this one. I struggle to see 4. I'll say that. Like, I struggle to see 4 goals in this.
So maybe like a Liverpool, maybe like your City money line and under 4.5, because I know you probably think City is grabbing all 3 points.
See, I lean actually, like I look towards the handicaps, and I
didn't mind putting that in your mouth, by the way.
No, I struggle on that piece. Like, I really think that Liverpool know the blueprint to playing Man City. I mean, they've done well against Man City over the years. I mean, this head-to-head between Klopp and Guardiola. Klopp has got the better of Guardiola more times than any other manager, I think, in Guardiola's career head-to-head.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So if I think that the under 3 is kind of a decent look, then that means I also think that Liverpool +1 is interesting. But I think that both would probably, maybe it's a double. Like, maybe you do a half stake on both. You say Liverpool +1 and under 3. And I think that one of them would push and one of them would probably come in.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about this game. I think that both of those numbers are spot on. I think that both, are very possible to push. And that's kind of where I see it. I'd be surprised if Liverpool got beat here by more than 1 goal. I'd be shocked, honestly. I really would be. And I'd be surprised. I'd probably be more surprised if Liverpool got beat by a margin than if the game went over the total. Let's just say that. So I think that my best lean here would be Liverpool +1. But it's not something I'm really looking to get involved in. It's razor sharp here.
I think it is a great match to re-kick off the Premier League, but one that I don't know if I can quite bet. Boy, what a big 8 days for Liverpool. Start off with City, then go to Chelsea, then get Arsenal. I mean, massive 8 days here with those 3 clubs and your quest to get back in the top 4. Massive. So, see how that one unfolds. Let's go ahead and roll on to the next game there on Saturday. It's Arsenal taking on Leeds. A lot of people are going to like Arsenal, I think, in this fixture. It's whether or not how much you think Leeds can contribute or hang. Arsenal are certainly on a mission. Leeds, we know, can cause problems. They're going to score, but they concede too much. Arsenal, to me, is just like head and above the rest, right? Winners of 6 in a row. been generally first place all season long. Number one in the table, number one last 6, number one last 10 in the table. Number one is Arsenal. I like them. I like to think Leeds is going to come along and contribute and help you get more than an over 2.5, probably maybe even get an over 3.5. But maybe you just want to single out Arsenal here because that's what you can expect from them at home. But if I'm going to bet it, I'm going to do a both teams to score in over 2.5. Leeds has been too leaky to think that this one's going to finish 1-1. It's not going to finish 1-1. This will have multiple goals in it. What about for you, Matt?
That's what I think. My bet is both teams to score here. I just think that Leeds can contribute here. I think that they've scored 6 goals in their last 2 matches. I mean, that's against what we consider somewhat of a decent defensive Wolves team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, then you look at they scored 2 against Brighton, who have been really solid all year. Arsenal, they've conceded. They conceded once against Palace. They conceded both matches in the head-to-head against Sporting in the Europa League. They conceded twice to Bournemouth. I mean, they've conceded. I don't think that Arsenal are just this unbelievable defensive team. I still think that they're very solid, and I don't think it will be easy for Leeds to score. But I just have watched this Leeds team so many times where I like the way that they play, and I think it's conducive to being able to score a goal. And so for me, finding it really, you can find it anywhere from plus 100 to minus 110 here. I grabbed a minus 105 on both teams to score. Yes, I think that Leeds can contribute here.
If you're a little bit nervous on that, you could also use over 2.5 as a parlay piece because I think Arsenal can get 3, past Leeds. They're going to create so many damn chances here at home. And remember, also Leeds was unable to score at home against Arsenal, earlier in the season when they were still playing the same kind of brand of football Matt's talking about up under Jesse Marsh. It just didn't work out that day. They still had a nice XG and created, and maybe they can score on the road. But I feel like this is another one where I just maybe want to focus on the guarantee, which is Arsenal scoring, as much of a guarantee, as that is.
Yeah, I don't think that if you're going to get with Arsenal, maybe it's Arsenal and over 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not a bad look.
I mean, you see Arsenal getting 3 points, right? Nothing's going to stop them from getting 3.
No, I don't think that they have any issues here.
Yeah, so a good little, over 1.5 money line, somewhere along those lines. So, all right, let's move it on along now to Bournemouth, where they're taking on Fulham. This is grasping at straws, trying to throw your money at this one. I guess both teams will score because that's cash in the last 3 head-to-head, and Bournemouth last 6 matches have seen 50% both teams will score. Otherwise, I'm not interested in too much. Trying to back Bournemouth has burned me on a few times this season. When you think they're playing better, they come up with a bad performance. They're still not really averaging a goal a game, so do I really want to get into a both teams to score even though they're at home and the head-to-head is right? Probably can't bet this one when it comes down to it. What about you, Matt?
I can't bet this one either. I want, if you were to ask me, what I would hit is I would probably play Bournemouth draw no bet. If I had to, no Mitrovic for Fulham. I think that's a key miss,
Mm-hmm.
But they've got the backup striker that's played for them. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's been solid whenever he's come in. I think he's a Brazilian.
They also don't have Willian, though. He picked up a red card in that United game as well, and he's been him, Pereira, and Mitrovic has been their 3 main guys in terms of attack. So no Mitrovic, as you said. There's no Willian. He picked up a red card. They're going to struggle, I think, at Bournemouth, even though it is Bournemouth. So I think the draw no bet could be the way.
I think it would be the way. It's Carlos Vinicius. He's been decent. He's been solid. He started, against Chelsea, I think, in one of those matches, on the Friday night. He's pretty good. But just not enough trust and faith in Bournemouth here to really back them in the draw no bet market, especially when, I think that the coaching advantage goes to Fulham. Fulham been solid on the road all year. I do think you're right that Willian and Mitrovic absences are pretty key, but then they've got some other guys. I mean, so it's just a full pass. It's a full pass. But I want to find a way to get on Bournemouth here soon. I mean, I think they've been better, but
if you want to get on it, really. I think both teams to score then would be the way. If you think Bournemouth, because we always like Fulham generally. I know it's not at Craven Cottage, but they're still going to have a good attack. Maybe if both teams to score, what is that price? Let me get just a glimpse of what they're charging you on that one.
Yeah, Should be a plus price.
I'm thinking I am showing minus 135.
Really? Wow, that's kind of telling. I mean, I'm surprised it's there. Really. Yeah, I have.
But are you backing Bournemouth? They've only scored 25 and 27. It's not like you
No.
get them at home. They've only scored 13 and 13. So it's not like they're at home. They're going to play better. Not from the stats.
Yeah, no. It's a watching brief. I have nothing here really.
I won't even be watching that game. I'm sure there's other ones at that 10 a.m. slot I'll be watching
Yeah,
instead.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
All right, let's keep it going here with Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Another game that I won't be setting the DVR for. Talk about battle of bad. Hell, Palace hasn't won a game since December 31st. They have not won a game since December 31st. Leicester's in 17th place. They're 1 point above the drop. They haven't won in their last 6. They've got 5 losses and a draw in that span. If you want to look at form in the last 6 games, these teams are 17th and 19th in the table. Palace has only scored 2 goals in those 6 games. Leicester has scored 6 in those 6 games, but still not a lot. Both teams have scored is hitting 4 of the last 5 head-to-heads, where you've seen 3 draws and 2 Leicester wins. So that would suggest maybe a low scoring. Leicester squeaks it out. I feel like both teams will score hits. I feel like 1-1 draw. I like the draw market's good, whether it's 0-0, 1-1, 2-2. Not a lot of separation. Again, 17th and 19th on current form in the table. Leicester's in trouble, 1 point above the drop. They're feeling it.
I think that just after looking at the card, especially, I kind of generally like it because it's always hard to get a good conviction on plays coming off the international break. But
It
I
is.
mean, every match that we've looked at, every match that we're going to talk about here, I think that the draw is a pretty big price. Like, I think that literally, if you had some cojones and you said, I'm going to put, $50 or whatever on every single draw this week, like, I do think that you'd probably end up profiting. I really do. But yeah, for this one, yeah, 0-0 in their last head to head. But I've watched this fixture many times now. Like, I won't, like, I loved it definitely won't be even DVR this week at all. But I do remember, like, I've seen this matchup probably 3 times in the last, 5 years or so. I mean, I know that's not like an amazing rate, but every single time I've seen it, it has been up and down, back and forth. You know that Leicester games have that ability sometimes. My gut lean, and if you just kind of look at the head-to-heads too, you throw out the 0-0. You go back to 2-1, 2-2, 2-1, 1-1, 3-0. I mean, those are decent numbers, and that'd be enough for me to probably consider an over 2.5 at a plus 115 price.
Oh, you think
That's where I would look.
all the way to 2.5 on that one? Whoa. Okay. That was a little bit. I
Yeah,
mean, you
just
can't go
just
wrong
over
in a
2.5.
Leicester match. I hear you.
Yeah, that's where I think it would be. I really think you getting it at, like, and I would shop around. I mean, if you can find like a over 2.5 plus, 120, I mean, I that does appeal a little bit. Would need to wait on some lineups and see some attacking stuff. You just don't. That's not a bet to make prior to lineups.
I'd have to get that at plus money. I mean, nobody in the Premier League is cashing, nobody in the Premier League has a lower goals per game at 2.1 than Crystal Palace. Their games are the lowest in the league at 2.1 goals. I'd have to get that at plus money for sure. Without a
Oh
doubt.
yeah, it has to be, and it is, and you need the lineups to be beneficial.
Yeah, man, Palace.
Because remember the Crystal Palace managerial change. I mean, that could help spark something here too.
Oh, they got that bump pre-Arsenal or pre-break. Lost it. They're not in that no break no more. No bounce. Hey, how about England finally having their daylight savings, or the games are back to 9 a.m. for me and 10 a.m. for you? That wait until 11, that was rough.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, it'll make me, it'll make it tougher to wake up and actually DVR them. But
Right.
it's. I loved you bringing back the DVR. I haven't heard that in a while.
All right, tough slate. Let's keep it going with Brighton taking on Brentford. Here's 7th place versus 8th place in the table. You'd love to see that. But, Matt, I'm conflicted on what I'm going to get here. Brentford scored 43 goals on the season. Pretty damn good. But only 15 of those have come on the road. Brighton, they've conceded 31 goals, but only 11 of those were conceded at home. Under 2.5 goals is hitting 3 of the last head-to-head. The last 3 head-to-head have seen both teams have scored no hit. boy, when I dug this one, I thought I was gravitating towards an over 2.5, but then you dig into it. Now I'm nervous. It makes me want to just back Brighton to win the game. With Brentford's struggles on the road, how good Brighton is at home, I think backing them at home is a great spot. You can get the money line at minus 155 if that's good enough for you. Double chance parlay, possibly there with another team that we can talk about a little bit later. But the over that I thought doesn't look as sexy. What about for you?
I'm trying to see. Yeah, the Brighton team total too, over 1.5
I
minus
like that.
155. I think that Brentford can contribute here for me. Like I'm taking just a flat over 2.5. No, both teams to score because of some of the things that you mentioned. I think that absolutely brings in the conversation to not be trying to push it to the both teams to score and over. So I'm just going to just flat over 2.5. Minus 125 is what I found. I think that Brighton could get there on their own, but I really do believe that Brentford have what it takes to score here. They won this fixture 2-0 in the reversed ones. So I think that all of your stats and trends, they make a ton of sense. You know, Brentford have struggled on the road. Brighton don't concede a lot at home. Kind of just hoping for more of like a helter-skelter kind of match coming off the international break that pushes up and over.
And that's what happened. That's why I'm going to have a small card this weekend because of coming off that break and kind of what you just said there. So, okay, yeah. Interesting. Like over 2.5 goals. I can see that. I mean, I could for sure see it. I think these two teams too as well. They're both like, I have to go off the top of my head, like 10th and 7th in terms of goals scored per game. I mean, they're both in the top 10. Both of their games are generally high-scoring games, so makes sense by you being on over. All right, keeping a conversation going here with Nottingham taking on Wolves, where Wolves is the favorite in this matchup, where they've only got 2 wins in 14 away matches, yet we're going to install Wolves as the favorite here on the road. I cannot get there backing Wolves in this spot here. I'm more interested in cards. I think this one could be scrappy. Remember we played the cards angle with Forest versus Tottenham and we got a good cash. I think you could play the same thing here between Nottingham and Wolves. These two teams rank 4th and 7th in the Premier League in terms of cards per game. The head officiating, he's going to average 3.48 per game. They've already faced each other twice this season. You saw 4 cards and 7 cards. Probably low scoring. I'd want to back Forest to get a result in this one more than the Wolves, but I kind of like the cards angle.
I don't like anything in the head to head here. I'd be on the draw. You know, this would be a draw match. Your cards angle over 4.5 bookings.
Mm-hmm.
Why
do you think Wolves
like
is the favorite here, Matt? Wolves doesn't deserve to be the favorite on the road against Forest, do you? Not for me.
It's not really for me either, but when you do stack up the 11s, I do think that you'll see that like Wolves have more like technical ability and like they do have some better players. They have a little bit more cohesion. I mean, this is a team like, why do you want to back Wolves after them just getting thrashed by Leeds just a few weeks ago? You know what I mean? Leeds put up 4 on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not for me. Like it's another one. I would draw a line in the middle and bet the draw if I had to.
I mean, the 2 teams that Wolves beat on the road in their 14 matches are Southampton and Everton. Everton pre-Sean Dyche, and Southampton, well, they're not even going to be in the Premier League next season. So they're not inspiring me. I don't know. To me, it's Forest, it's cards, it's something along that. But another tough match coming off international break. All right, let's go to Stamford Bridge next, where we got Chelsea taking on Aston Villa. Big game here from Chelsea, and the reason I think it's a big game is obviously they're in Champions League. This is a big match here. I don't know if you noticed during international break, but N'Golo Kante, he played for their under-21, so he's in this match some fashion to get him ready for Real Madrid, which they need Real Madrid. He can make a huge difference in that 2-legged fixture. So you're getting Kante in this. We don't know how many minutes, but you're getting Kante. Chelsea have won 3 of the last 4 head-to-head, with the other one being a draw. 2 of those 3 wins against Aston Villa came via the clean sheet. I know Villa's going to be tough here with Unai Emery, and they're likely going to maybe score a goal at Stamford Bridge. But I like Chelsea actually grinding out a result, whether that's 2-0 or 2-1. I like Chelsea to continue the uptick form and keep pressing with Champions League starting next week.
Yeah, I think that you're right, and you're in a sense of waiting on lineups. Let's see what N'Golo Kante can do. I mean, this Chelsea team, they still got a shot to play Champions League football next year. They've got to go and win the Champions League. And with N'Golo Kante in, and if they can have some better health luck around, I mean, they are a really tough team to knock out in a two-legged affair with N'Golo Kante. I mean, he covers land and sea. We know that. I mean, the dude is unbelievable. And yeah, I saw the same footage of him with the under 21s, and he's going to be ready to go. He's off the injury report. I wonder if they'll immediately throw him in to the fire. But yeah, I would need to see lineups here. This is a complete stay away. I have nothing to say right now on this match. If I had to lean right now, I'd say both teams to score yes. I think that Villa pose enough of a threat to score at Stamford Bridge.
That would be another one, though, that I placed that bet. I see starting lineups, and I drop my phone when Conte's in it. And like, God, now I'm sweating. I'm already sweating for the ball's kick because Conte's starting, you know? And I think he's going to start.
If Conte didn't
play
start
70-ish minutes. I bet he starts and plays 70.
I think so, too, probably. If he doesn't start, I definitely like a little bit of both teams to score.
Yeah. Yep, I agree completely. All right, let's move on to a relegation battle between West Ham and Southampton, 18th versus 20th place, which, again, is really just shocking to say that these two clubs are in the drop. It's because of their goal differential. For West Ham, it's 24 and 34. For Southampton, it's 23 and 46. So neither team can score a goal per game. You could see Southampton's more leaky. This smells like a very low-scoring West Ham win, and I'm not going to be surprised if you hit the crack score of 1-0. Like, if that wants to be your bet, West Ham 1-0, I like it. But I think this is another one where you could go for the cards angle. 18th and 20th, scrappy like hell, clawing to get up out of that relegation fight. This one smells like a cards or 1-0 West Ham win.
I hope it's a 1-0 West Ham win. It's just a gut feel here for me, really. I mean, none of the stats really back it up, other than West Ham they've played a little bit better at home. Here's West Ham. Here's something to kind of look at. West Ham's last 4 at home, for example, last 5. I don't even want. They beat up in the Minnow Conference League. A team from Cyprus 4-0. We can throw that one out. But a 1-1 against Villa, that wouldn't get me my cash. A 4-0 against Forest, that was nice. A 1-1 against Chelsea, that wouldn't get my cash. But again, Villa, Chelsea, those two teams have been pretty strong this year. And a 2-0 against Everton. I mean, they've at least shown out. They've collected points in every single home match, Jason, over the last 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's my bet here. I mean, I think that just fading Southampton is still worthy. I think that Southampton, I'm absolutely shocked that West Ham are in this position. I'm not shocked that Southampton are, but I'm absolutely shocked that I still think that West Ham, when they stack up these 11s with Declan Rice and those guys at home here, give it to me. West Ham and under 3.5 goals at plus 125. I don't want to pay the minus 135 on West Ham because screw West Ham in a sense. Like I'm not doing it. I'm not going to lay minus 140 on West Ham because I don't trust them enough. But if I can try to see how I think that this game will go, I think that Southampton will struggle to score. I think that West Ham will struggle to score. So I like the unders. So I'm ticking it from under 2.5 up to under 3.5. And I'm going to go with West Ham. I think that they grind out a result here and they grab all 3 points against Southampton that just can't get out of their own way.
I think if you're willing to back West Ham, 100%. Like Matt's doing, drop in and under and get your price better. I don't know where goals are going to come from. It's going to be very, very low scoring. So I love that you're willing to tack on that under to bring onto your money line and get it at a much better price like that. And I do agree with you. The better 11. I'm picking West Ham, but man, I bet sprinkle that 1-0 correct score. Sprinkle it. It's going to hit. All right, let's move on to the second to last match. It's Newcastle taking on Manchester United for the 3rd time this season, where the first 2 cashed under 2.5. I think you're probably going to see a lot of that if I had to take a guess. Newcastle, last 7 head-to-head, have seen 0 Newcastle wins up against Manchester United. They did win, ironically, the last time in 2019 at St. James Park, where it'll be this one. But Newcastle, league best, and only 19 goals conceded. You got to tie that into under 2.5 already hitting. This one seems absolutely low scoring. I like corners, though. Newcastle, first in the league. Remember, we did Newcastle Forest corners, I believe it was, just before the international break, and we got a cash. Newcastle's first. at over 9.5 corners in 73% of their matches. United is sixth at 57% of over 9.5 corners. This seems low scoring in corners. I'd even do a parlay of like maybe under 3.5 goals and a reduced corners of maybe over 7 or 8.5. But either one of those could be played alone too, an under and an over 9.5 corners. I like it in this one. United probably pull it out, but I'm not confident at St. James Park to think they're going to come in and just pull this out. I'm way more confident in the corners and low scoring angle.
I like whatever you like in this game because I find this one tricky, and I do agree. I mean, yeah, the corners angle does look pretty solid here. You know that United on the road are going to come out. They're going to still be able to attack and be really free flowing. Newcastle will give it a go here at home. I love that. I love that look because I don't want anything to do with this number. But again, another match that could easily draw. I mean, there's so many draws potentials.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. I feel like I've done this before after an international break, and only like 2 out of the 10 draws came in. I was like, "Fuck!" I ended up like losing. So, but I mean, look at all these. I mean, seriously, look at all of them. Man City, Liverpool, Brighton, Brentford, Palace, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Forest, Wolves, and then you get into some of the bigger prices like Chelsea and Villa. I mean, that could happen. This matchup right here that we're talking about, West Ham, Southampton. I mean, there's a lot of plus. I mean, those are the biggest one is Arsenal Leeds plus 500. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I mean, like there's still a shot at that one happening. I mean, Leeds can cause some problems to anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good one. I don't know. It's starting to make me want to degen it. Sucks.
So you're coming along though on the corners angle in Newcastle United.
Coming along in the corners angle. That's all I've got here. I mean, Rashford to score.
Rashford
he's not fit. He's not fit, is he?
I haven't listened to the press conferences. I'm going to the gym after this, and that's when I usually listen to him. And I think he was questionable, if I recall. Martial is finally back in the squad, so you could get him coming off the bench. So you like that.
This website, that's pretty good. They have Rashford 75% to go, which is pretty strong.
Yeah,
late fitness test.
He's going. He's going. They sent him early from international camp. He's playing.
You guys have a lot of injuries right now.
Mm-hmm. And we got Casemiro on the red still. Casemiro on the red. He's still out. That's a big one.
Yeah, Newcastle might be able to pull this one off. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm not willing to back United for the win. But give me a card or give me low scoring and give me the corners angle for sure.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about this last one here on Monday afternoon. Everton at Goodison Park welcoming Tottenham. Tottenham alone with their manager situation is completely putting me off of this one. I don't like anything about them. I have no idea how the players are going to respond after being thrown under the bus by Conte, even though he's not there and they don't have to face him. They still have to deal with that. Or do I want to play into the manager bounce? I have no idea who the hell the new manager is. I think it's that guy who took over in the interim when Conte was dealing with the surgery and the recovery. I believe I saw it's the same guy, but I don't know. Maybe an under 2.5 in Sean Dice, but that's not really having good cash rates lately. I don't know. Tottenham and their situations got me off this one, and I'm going to be off of it until Monday unless something else comes around. What about for you?
Nope. We're not getting off this one. It's 4-0, the Sean Dyche unders at home.
Mm-hmm.
He took over against Arsenal, right?
Correct.
His first match game was against Arsenal. Okay. It's 4-0 at home at Goodison.
So there you go. Okay.
1-0, 1-0. They lost 2-0. And then, I mean, they've done really well, too, here. I mean, they've won 3 of the 4. They beat Arsenal 1-0. They beat Leeds 1-0. They beat Brentford 1-0. And then they lost to Villa 2-0. Still all cashing the under 2.5. This is an under 2.5 gem. I'd get on this one. This is one I would probably get on now. I would say this line is only going one way. Like, you're going to miss out on 5, 10, 20 cents if you don't hit it now. I think that this one, there's no way that the over is getting popped here, I don't think.
All right, I got to look up. I closed this bookmark. I'm just going to pull up a couple stats. You got me intrigued on that 4-0 at home. Let me just look for a second. Spurs.
Spurs, they had this crazy 3-3 against Southampton. So, yeah, I mean, that would have been obviously a loser. The three prior to 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 on the road. Others on the road kind of stuff. So, two of the last three head-to-heads cashed the under 2.5. A 0-0, a 2-0, and a loser was a 5-0 to Spurs. I'm sorry, Sean Dyche is not allowing 5 goals.
No, that's never happened on his watch.
This is the best bet. This is probably my favorite bet. This is just like I look at the card, I go down, I scroll. Okay, what's the Dyche under? All right, it's juiced up. It's right where it should be. Well, I'm freaking hitting it. So this is probably my favorite look on the entire card, honestly.
Right. I am,
and it's just pretty much just blindly putting my faith into Sean Dyche, and that's what's wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I kind of like it.
I mean, it's 4-0. It's 4-0. It's a freaking under 2.5 beauty at home at Goodison.
All right, let's go ahead and reveal our official bets. That's all 10 games. There are my bets. Can you guys see them? You guys see them on the screen? Yeah, I don't have any bets, fellas. I haven't put any of my money on the Premier League this weekend. I'm going to that the corners angle in Newcastle United. Just haven't found the best price, but I don't know. Got to follow me on Twitter this weekend to find out which bets I'm going to do in the Premier League. Looks like you've got a handful there.
Yeah, there's a handful. West Ham, can you just play well for 90 minutes?
Be cool.
It's Southampton. It's Southampton we're talking about. I'm not talking about anything crazy here. I mean, it's just Southampton this year who have been dreadful. Just kind of really just going to plays that I think have just over the course of the season, I would normally hit. Brighton, the over 2.5, just kind of sticking with what has been working for us all year with Brighton matches. Trusting a little bit in Leeds. That's kind of off the cuff a little bit, just trusting Leeds that they can. I know that Leeds are going to create a couple decent chances. It's just, will they take them? If they can just be clinical on one chance, we will cash that both teams to score, yes. And then the Sean Dyche beauty. That's what I've got.
I noticed through Leeds, Ganato, he's out due to an injury. That makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, that's not ideal. But they've got some guns.
All right. Well, that card right there is winning money between those 4 picks. So jump on there, fellas. And as always, stay to us on Twitter. Matt's always great for adding stuff, and I am going to add stuff because, as you can see, I've got no bets right now. So make sure you stay with us on Twitter. All right, back off the international break, back into the Premier League. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on Between the Posts. Come on back next week. Another round of games to break down, although there are midweek games as well. So maybe stay tuned. Maybe we'll hop on here with you guys midweek. All right, enjoy the games, Matt.
You too. Thanks, Jason.